Hey guys, Jesse from Fulla Strength and Conditioning here. You're tuned in to the From Average to Awesome podcast. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode number 2. So this one here I'm going to call the basics. So these are going to be the basic movements that you should be doing in your program. And if you're not, then you'd need to look at why they're not and if you think they would actually be of benefit to you to put into your program or your current exercise routine. So there's 5 different movement categories that I'm going to discuss today. So we have what are called, well, we'll go through the basics and then I'll go into the variants of them. So we have a push, pull, hinge, squat, and then a core sort of category as well. So when I refer to push movements, I'm talking anything that is literally just that, anything where you're pushing. So there's 2 variants of a push movement. We have a vertical push and we also have a horizontal push. So when I refer to vertical and horizontal, this is in relation to the torso. So I had a session this morning with the client and we were doing a pendlay row. So that's a movement where basically you're bent over, the barbell is on the ground and you roll it in towards your chest. So with that one, the torso is parallel to the floor. So just imagine that your torso it's horizontal, okay? So you're facing, or your chest is facing down to the ground, and from there you've got an overhand grip on the bar and you roll it up towards your chest. So here's what's happening. The bar itself is traveling in a vertical line. The bar is going up, but it's horizontal in relation to the torso. It's not traveling in the same line as your torso, okay? So that's the pull version, or the sort of explanation of the vertical and the horizontal. So pull is exactly the same thing. If we have a vertical pull, that could be anything, for example, pull-ups, lat pull-downs. So vertical pulling, anything that you're pulling from over your head down towards your body. Conversely, a vertical push would be the exact opposite. That'd be where you start with the arms near the shoulders and you would press upwards towards the sky. Okay, so that would be typically shoulder pressing, anything where you're pressing directly over your head. Then we have horizontal pulling movements, which I've just discussed. So that's your rowing movement. So pendlay row, bent over row, even seated row, T-bar rows. They're all horizontal in relation to the torso. On the other aspect, so that's the pull. Then we have the push. This is for the gents. This is every Monday. Everyone does horizontal push movements. International Chest Day. So horizontal push movements, we think about it, would be the bench press, dumbbell pressing, push-ups. Not that too many people actually do them or do them well, but they do fit that category. Then we have hinge movements, so working down to the lower body. Hinge movements are what are called hip dominant exercises. So typically when we train the lower body, not always, but typically we'd have a deadlift or a deadlift style movement which orients the hip, and then we would have a squat style movement as well. So the hinge obviously includes the deadlift, the Romanian deadlift, good mornings, pull throughs, things of that nature. Then obviously we'd have a squat and all the variations of it. So it could be a front squat, a back squat, a bodyweight squat, a zercher squat. Very easy. There's your sort of your 5 core squat variations. The last category is a little bit more broad. So this encompasses a lot of different movements, and I'll keep it simple for today. I don't want to ramble on too much. I just want to give you a very good outline on the 5 different movement patterns. So the core. At Fulla Strength and Conditioning, we do a lot of anti-movement work. So when people refer to core strength, one of the first things that comes to mind is the abdominals. And with a fair enough reason, the abdominals are part of the core musculature. but they're not the only muscles. When I refer to the core, I'm talking everything basically from the knees right up to the shoulders, and all the muscles in between those sort of two areas. So that's your hips, it's your obliques, so the muscle down the side part of your midsection, the abdominals, absolutely, the glutes, the lower back as well. So that all encompasses the core, if you will. Some very good movements you can do for core work. The traditional plank is excellent. It's very underrated in my opinion. At Fulla Strength and Conditioning, we do not prescribe sit-ups or crunches. They are fantastic if you want a lower back injury. If you want core strength, that's probably not the best way to go about it. So if you're doing hundreds of crunches trying to get that six-pack, I'm telling you now, you are wasting your time. Okay, there are much more effective ways of strengthening that midsection and packing on muscle. So what we do, some exercises, we do the plank. We do a lot of variations of the plank. We do the traditional plank. We do the tall plank, which is with the hands directly under the shoulder. It is not a push-up position. It's a narrower stance. It's a little bit more stable for the shoulders. We do some work with furniture sliders as well. So we do things like side taps. We do furniture slider mountain climbers. What else do? We do hand circles with the sliders. So it's a lot of anti-rotation and movements where you have to resist gravity. Okay, so basically you have to resist movement sometimes rather than creating it. That's a fantastic way to improve core strength. Bands are another fantastic tool that we use. Typically we perform some of the main exercises we do are banded static holds. So the athlete yourself would basically hold a power band. You take up an athletic stance, so feet shoulder width apart. You drop into a quarter squat and you'd press your arms out in front of your body. So you'd be holding the band with both hands in line with your nose at about shoulder height. Then you'd have someone holding onto the other end of the band and they'd be trying to pull it directly to the side. So let's say the band's being pulled from the left, you'd have to resist that motion, or that rotation rather, and hold the band directly in front. So that's strengthening the abdominals, the hips, the obliques to resist rotation. So that's one of the exercises we do. A slight variation on that would be the pull-off press. That's essentially the same start position. You'd hold the band, it would be pulled laterally to get a bit of tension on it. And then essentially all you do is you pull the band towards your chest and then you press it straight back out without the band deviating left or right. So it's just going backwards to your chest and then pressing away and still maintaining tension on that band, of course. There are our main methods or our main movement principles that we stick to for the core. We try and stay off machines as much as we can. So obviously if someone has an injury or a movement impairment, say for example you've got a dodgy knee and perhaps you can't squat or you can't lunge, then we'll work around that and use machines. But we try to use free weights and body weight as much as possible. You get a lot more bang for your buck doing that. You'll get more muscle activation. So what I mean by that is the more muscles that you can get using together at one time, a couple of things are going to happen. You're going to burn more calories. So more muscles requires more energy, so more calories will be burnt. You will build more lean muscle mass, which will in turn increase your metabolism. So you'll burn more calories just at rest. That's always a positive. And you improve your coordination and your body awareness as well. So you'll be able to sort of feel where your body is in space and you can manipulate your joints and muscles more effectively than sort of being told where to go from a machine. Okay, so that's a couple of reasons why we use free weights, dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, bands, and especially body weight as well. Much more effective at increasing strength and decreasing body fat. That's pretty much the fundamentals of Fulla Strength and Conditioning programming, guys. We do a push of some description, whether it be vertical or horizontal. Same thing with a pull. We'll do a hinge movement, we'll do a squat variation, and obviously some form of core work and a conditioning at the end, depending on the client, time, and their goals. All right. I hope that's given you a bit of an understanding of what movements should be in a training program and also why. They use the most amount of muscle groups. You will burn more calories. You will put on more muscle, which will increase your metabolism. Remember that. It won't get you bulky. If you're trying to drop body fat, you want to use as many muscles as possible. Okay? And body awareness is one thing that I feel is very underrated and undervalued. A lot of people can use machines till the cows come home. They can lift very heavy. Try and do a bodyweight squat or a body row or even a lunge for that matter, and they really struggle. So being able to move your own body and do what it needs to do takes a bit of practice and coordination as well. So there it is, guys. That's our movement patterns. That's the basics. If you haven't already, we'd love for you to head to our Facebook page and give us a like. Make sure you follow our content that we come out with. We pump out heaps of stuff every week. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're nearing the 250 video mark, so almost at the 250 video mark. It's a very big achievement for us. That's it once again for the podcast, guys. As always, if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a message on Facebook, send us an email, and we'll get back in touch with you as soon as we can. All right, until next time, train hard. Bye-bye.